But I was just mad because my son is now missing. And I was also angry at myself. How could I turn around in a split of a second and he's gone? We just landed in San Francisco, 12 hours from Istanbul. And this is the moment everyone knows. The whole plane stands up all at once, grabbing their bags. Everyone is in a rush to get off. So Gil reaches for our luggage, I'm gathering the rest of it, and in those few seconds, our nonverbal autistic son, Evan, slips out into the aisle in front of a stranger with a bunch of other luggage and does exactly what everybody else around him is doing. He follows the crowd off the plane. 12 hours before this, he was here, Istanbul, Turkey, thriving. No jet lag, no meltdown, none of what we were warned about. So this was our last stop before heading back to America. It was supposed to be the easy part after months of travel. Like, what could possibly go wrong, right? Stay with me because what happened in the airport when we landed only took about 10 seconds, but I still, even to this day, can't stop thinking about it. So let me back up even more because context is everything. So 6 months earlier, we rented out our house and we hit the road. Our plan was so simple and a little bit crazy.
Bye, house.
Bye, house.
We wanted to travel as a family for the rest of that year. We went across the Southwest in the US, and then we stopped in Canada to visit my family, and then across the pond to Europe. And we visited a lot of places, a lot of countries. We experienced new languages, new food, new beds, new everything. And Evan, our nonverbal autistic son, did all of it with so much love, happiness, and joy. The kid people had warnings about turned into a genuinely seasoned traveler. Airports stopped scaring us. They never scared Evan. And this became our normal. So Istanbul was our last stop, the final leg before we flew home to San Francisco. We weren't nervous anymore. We had done this all year, and Evan had earned his stripes 10 times over, which is exactly why the trip home blindsided us the way it did. Istanbul might have been his best stop of the whole year. No jet lag. By now, his body knew the routine. A year on the road had taught this kid who feels every little change to roll with him. And this is dinner, late, loud, a country he had never set foot in. And look at him. He's settled, curious. He's just taking it all in. We walked the night markets, wall to wall with people and traffic. He was right there in the middle of all of it. And he was good. And then our cab driver, who I'm fairly sure was auditioning for a stunt role. I had never held a door handle in a car so tightly until then. And Evan, he loved every second. He actually even fell asleep. So that was Istanbul, a perfect last stop to a near perfect year of travel. And then we got on the plane to go back home to America. And the year had caught up with us all at once on that flight. Istanbul to San Francisco. A few hours in, 3 things went wrong all at the same time. And none of them were Evan. The first, we ran out of diapers. We pack what we always pack, and the travel day just ran so much longer than the supply. For those that don't know our routines, Evan is potty trained, but when we go on long flights or long car rides, we put diapers on Evan because while he knows how to use the restroom, he can't always communicate with us when he needs to use it. And on the plane, we had no more diapers left. The flight attendant came through for us though. She found literally 1 toddler diaper in the entire flight. It was way too small, but we were gonna do what we could with it. She was so kind about it. In fact, the whole staff of that flight was amazing with Evan. This was Turkish Airlines, and they all loved Evan's giddiness and his silliness, and he was being super affectionate with all of them. They tried to make things work as much as they could. Then the seatbelt sign came on, and then turbulence happened. The real kind. The kind where you have to fasten your seatbelts and then you say a little prayer, even if you're not religious. And that was the exact moment that Evan needed to use the restroom. Sit with that. He needed to go, and we physically couldn't take him. And there was no way to explain turbulence to a kid who's not verbal. No way to say, just wait, it's the plane, it's not us. You can use the restroom after the seatbelt sign goes off. All he knows is that he needs something, and the people he trusts aren't fixing it. And that's when it all started. He hit a wall. It became a real meltdown. He pulled my hair, he pulled it hard, and I let him, because it wasn't a behavior that needed disciplining. It was a kid that was boxed into a situation that none of us could fix at 35,000 feet. That circumstance, we just had to be there with him while he went through it. He also wanted water. When he couldn't get up to use the restroom, he kept grabbing the empty water bottles that were like tucked in the seat in front of us. And there was no water in it. Flight attendants had to sit down. They couldn't get us more water. We had to completely run out. So that did not help his meltdown. So then it passed. It always passes. And then we landed. And I really thought the hard part was behind us. The hard part didn't even start yet. So we're back to where this started. Everybody's up. That slow rush towards the door. Gil is wrestling the bags down from the overhead compartment, me loading up the rest, putting backpacks on the kids, and Evan steps into the aisle ahead of us, like literally in a split of a second, because everybody's rushing to get off. And he just goes with the flow of the people. Off the plane, onto the gate, gone with the flow of the crowd. And here's the part that still gets to me. He didn't wander off. People always hear about a lost child or a picture of a kid breaking away, like eloping, bolting somewhere he shouldn't be going. That's not what happened in this case. Evan did the most normal thing a person can do. He followed everybody else. He blended in perfectly, and he was just going with the flow. And that's exactly what made this so terrifying. The crowd was leaving, and so he left. By the time we got off the plane, he wasn't in sight. And if you've got a child who can slip away like that, you already know that feeling. That drop in your stomach, your heart stopping. The one person who can't shout your name, who can't tell a stranger, hey, where's my parents? I'm lost, is out ahead of you, and you can't see him. So I did the thing that your body does before your brain catches up. I ran back onto the plane and asked the flight attendants if they saw him. Did anybody see my son? Did you see where he went? Okay, and I'm going to be straight with you, because this channel doesn't hide the real parts. I was angry. I was furious. I was furious at the flight attendants, the same people who had been so good to him the whole flight, who talked to him, who tracked down a diaper for us. They knew Evan, and he still slipped past every one of us. I was angry at the flight attendants, and I was also angry at the crowd. I was angry for people rushing. I know people had to get to their connecting flights or whatever, but I was just mad because my son is now missing. And I was also angry at myself. How could I turn around in a split of a second and he's gone? Obviously, we landed and we hadn't gone through customs. And so I knew that he wouldn't be able to slip out of the airport. He would have been stopped somewhere. So I had that knowing, but I'm still a parent. And when your child is out of your sight and he's not supposed to be out of your sight, you know that feeling, that sinking feeling. You don't know where he is. And you don't know if you'll ever see him again. That's literally what I felt. Here's the lesson. The lesson wasn't that he left. The lesson was the speed. It only took seconds. On a plane full of people who knew his name, it just took seconds. Just like that, he was gone. Gil didn't wait. He didn't, luckily, Thankfully, he didn't have the same instincts as me. He didn't run back to the plane. He ran towards customs. And thankfully, he found him on the escalator, calm, just following the line of people towards customs, headed exactly where everybody else was headed with their passports. I know he would have been stopped at some point. But again, I'm a parent. I was panicking. And so was Leilani, and so was Gil. And then this, the welcome sign. All of us wrecked and rolling our bags through the airport, every single one of us accounted for. We made it. So that was our year. Evan crossed a continent. He went on planes. He went on trains. He went in automobiles. He went to a dozen cities, and he handled all of it. And it was the last 100 feet on home soil, home turf, that nearly, literally undid me. And people ask why we keep going when things can go like that. And here's the answer. The year where he handled the whole world, that doesn't happen if we let fear of one bad leg keep us home. The hard parts are the toll. The good parts are his. He earned every mile of it. This is exactly why we don't shrink. If you're raising a child where travel feels out of reach, I made this video for you. We're not selling you easy. We're showing you it's possible. We've got more adventures from this year coming, including one stop I still cannot believe we pulled off. So please subscribe and don't miss this next one.
Yes.